Alright guys, so if you are a Christian, you perhaps are observing Lent, so I thought I'd make a quick video just explaining what you should be trying to do, what you should be avoiding, how you should approach this from a bodybuilding perspective if you want to still maximize your bodybuilding potential while also keeping to your religious convictions. I'm gonna try and make this video really quick. I'm gonna go over all the dietary things for all denominations. But yeah, first we're gonna be talking about Catholics. So Lent for Catholics means no meat on Fridays, and then for Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, Ash Wednesday is when I'm recording this, so hopefully I can get this out before then, you have one full meal, two smaller meals, and the two smaller meals have to be less than the summation of one meal. So if you're trying to get 2,000 calories in that day, you should be having, 1,200 calories for the first meal, and then the second snacks should total less than 1,200, so they should both be like 300 grams or 300 calories each or something like that. So to cover Fridays, which, Fridays in 2 days, you're gonna want to replace your chicken breasts and other great protein sources with plant-based protein sources or other protein sources that aren't meat. During Lent, you are allowed fish, so you can have salmon, which is about 25 grams of protein per 100 grams. You can have tuna, which is about 30 grams of protein per 100 grams. You can have eggs, which are about 6 grams per egg, 6 grams of protein per egg. You can have Greek yogurt, which is about 10 grams per 100 gram. Whey protein, which ranges anywhere from 25 grams to 30 grams per scoop. And you can have legumes, or specifically beans. So for Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, you can have the first small meal / snack thing. So you can have 30 grams of whey protein and maybe 1 or 2 slices of bread with peanut butter. It could also be 1 slice of bread. 2 slices of bread is about 350 calories, plus the whey protein, which is about 120, 130 calories. So that'll be about 500 calories for your breakfast if you were to eat that. But with 1 slice, it's about 300 calories. So I think that you should use your own prudence to decide what you want to do for there. For your full meal, you can have 150 grams of cod, which has 30 grams of protein and 2 grams of fat, 200 grams of cooked rice, which will get you a lot of your carbs. It's also 10 grams of protein, 10 grams of protein and 56 grams of carbs. And I would also get whey protein with this, but maybe some people don't want to eat whey protein too often. But whatever, I'm recommending having whey protein with this. You can also have an avocado with it. This will round out your micronutrients and give you some more calories. And this will get you to about 700 calories. And for your last small meal, you can have some cottage cheese and probably any fruit of your choice. 150 grams of low-fat cottage cheese is about 17 grams of protein and 120 calories, but then plus the fruit is probably gonna get you to about 200 calories. So you got about 300 in the first meal, and then about 200 in the second small meal, and then for the full meal, you got about 700, so you're well below what you should be doing. And for the regular Friday sample meal, I'm gonna be going over this very quickly. You can have like 3 to 4 large eggs, which is about 18 grams of protein, about 100 grams of oats for breakfast, which is about 12 grams of protein. For lunch, you can have salmon, about 150, 200 grams, which is gonna be about 40 grams of protein. It's about 200 grams of quinoa beans and 100 grams of broccoli. It's gonna end up equaling about 57 grams of protein. And then for dinner, you can have tuna and rice. If you have about 200 grams of each, it'll end up equaling about 70 grams of protein. And then at some point in the middle of the day, you can have some whey protein, which will be anywhere between 25 to 30 grams of protein depending on what your whey protein brand does. So once you total all that out, it should be about 185 grams of protein, which should be enough for maintenance. On Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, you're going to be cutting it just the way it's going to be. But on the other days, you can afford to go to maintenance or even bulk if you want. This is all just a sample diet anyways. You most certainly don't have to work with these to a T. Just do whatever you feel is necessary. Just don't eat meat, of course, and try and hit your macros. Whatever you feel is necessary, whatever you feel is best for you. That was just a very broad sample. And if you're enjoying the video so far, consider joining my coaching program. I actually am a Christian coach, so I do give you some spiritual guidance in there if you're interested. Links are down in the description. For Eastern Orthodox, it gets quite a bit more complicated. The rules are no meat, no dairy, and no fish for all 40 days of Lent. You're basically a vegan with very rare exceptions. You can eat fish on Palm Sunday, but that's it. So as a bodybuilder, we're gonna be focusing on a lot of plant-based protein, and you're gonna wanna cover your micronutrients. Because if you don't know, the vegan diet naturally is micronutrient deficient. Well, I should say, if you know what you're doing, it won't be micronutrient deficient, but if you just eat within the boundaries of veganism and don't pay much more attention than that, then you're likely gonna be micronutrient deficient. So the protein sources are going to be a lot of legumes like beans and lentils. They're probably going to have some soy products like tofu. And before anyone gets mad at me for that, soy doesn't actually lower your testosterone or anything like that. It's a funny meme, but there's been so many meta-analyses that show that soy doesn't actually lower protein. It doesn't actually lower testosterone. I still wouldn't recommend eating a ton of soy, but there is no evidence that it actually lowers testosterone. You're gonna have to rely on rice protein, also pea protein, and you can eat some high protein nuts like peanut butter, pumpkin seeds, and hemp seeds. As for micronutrients, you're going to be deficient in B12. I believe that there's no animal that actually contains, no plant that contains B12, which is why vegans tend to supplement with B12 in order to stay healthy. And well, I think it's necessary for everyone to take creatine, but for vegans especially, and for Orthodox during Lent, you're going to have to supplement with creatine. Take 5 grams of it a day. Try and find a vegan-friendly option because not all creatine would be okay for you. And now for the practical recommendations. Some pre-workouts that you can take are rice cakes with peanut butter and banana, which is about 10 grams of protein and 400 calories. For breakfast, you can have oatmeal with pea protein and berries, which is going to get you about 30 grams of protein and 600 calories. For snacks, you're going to have to work with endamine and almonds, which is about 15 grams of protein and 300 calories. Lunch, you can get some spinach and brown rice, which would get you about 25 grams of protein per 700 calories. And for dinner, you can get a bunch of stir-fry vegetables and beans, which, depending on what beans you get and how much you take it, should get you to about 40-45 grams of protein once you add the stir-fry vegetables, which means that you're eating about 145 grams of protein, which is under the 1 gram per pound of body weight. I'm assuming this person is 185 pounds, which is under the 1 gram per pound of body weight. But if as like an evening snack or something like that, you have some vegan protein, it should bump you up to about 165, which is definitely more than enough to assuage the deficits of going on this diet. In other words, if you know what you're doing, you're not going to be losing muscle when you're on Lent. For Protestants, they don't have the traditions that Orthodox and Catholics have. They don't have the sort of communal element that Orthodox and Catholics have. So they view Lent as more of a personal sacrifice. So they usually just say, you know, don't eat dairy, don't eat sugar, quit alcohol, quit meat, or quit processed foods. It's all very personal, so I can't really go over everything. But I already covered no meat, I already covered no dairy with Orthodox and Catholics. I'm just going to go over no sugar for potentially Protestants who want to do this. What this essentially means is that you're gonna have to get rid of, your sugary beverages like sodas, get rid of your processed snacks, get rid of the processed foods. Refined carbs and stuff like cereal and bread is obviously off limits. Alcohol, even fruits are off limit. You're gonna have to drink black coffee, and if you want to have it sweetened, you're gonna have to take some stevia. So yeah, I believe that's everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you all in my next video. Alright, peace.